What's up, grinders? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be taking a look at Anki Core. Now you might be sitting there wondering to yourself, Evildea, what the fuck is an Anki Core? And I'm glad you asked, my loyal subscriber who always has my back in times of need. Basically, Anki Core is a series of decks that you can purchase for Anki. You import them in and then you drill cards. Doesn't sound too crazy except for the fact that I think it's like $200 or something, like some insane amount of money. Now, the reason I'm talking about this is because yesterday I did a react to a video from Louis Telegrand, as you can see right here. That video was him interviewing Pablo from Dreaming Spanish. An overall great video. I enjoyed it quite a bit, but Louis always sells his Anki Core decks, and you'll find it in the description of every video, and maybe he'll even mention it in videos. And I've previously done another react to one of his videos where he was talking about, you know, the benefits of Pimsleur and everything, and it was basically just an affiliate video, which I reacted to because obviously I've done Pimsleur, all 5 levels of Chinese, so I was able to provide my own thoughts on that. But every time I do a react to one of his videos, which is twice, by the way, I will get inundated with questions or requests. You guys will sit there and go, Evildea, you gotta like look into his Anki Core. You gotta like download these decks, buy them, try them out, let us know what you think. Guys, what do you think I'm just gonna blow $200 on a fucking Anki deck? Are you insane? What is wrong with you guys? Unless you guys start dropping massive amounts of donations in my chat, I ain't dropping $200 on a goddamn Anki deck. You're freaking loco if you think that's going to happen. Okay, so what we're going to do instead is we're going to take a look at what it is from his perspective, how it was generated, the website for it, all those types of things. I'll give you my thoughts. I have actually spoken with people who brought this deck. My brain was blowing when I heard about this. There's actually people that bought it. Like, I didn't think people would really buy, like maybe 1 or 2 people, but I know of at least 3 people now who have bought the decks from him. So, man, I gotta start selling decks. Like, that's some sweet-ass cash to be making right there, you know? Like, Jesus Christ, I honestly did not think people would drop that much money on an Anki deck, but you know what? I guess some people are prepared, and I just need to figure out how to farm those people in an ethical way. Or maybe not so ethical. But anyway, we're going to take a look at his Anki Core website. So, here is Anki Core, the only flashcard decks you'll ever need. Unmatched in depth and coverage. The Anki Core decks are flashcard decks compatible with Anki, okay? Now, I just want to confirm that pricing. So, we're just going to go down here and we'll just quickly go straight to Japanese and we'll buy that. And we'll see it's $199. I'm guessing that's US dollars, which would put it over way over $200 for me. Okay, so now we're back on the main page. Let's have a look at it. Here is a flashcard from the German deck. Keep in mind they are customizable. You can change the layout however you want. So you've got like on the front, you type in your answer, and then on the back, you've got like a recording, you've got the word, you've got an example sentence, mnemonic, and then a word part analysis. I'm guessing a breakdown of the actual word. And then we've got some videos where he shows off the different decks. Now, the ones that I know, like the people that I know have purchased this, they have the Japanese deck, okay? Now, obviously, I can't ask them to give me a copy of the entire deck so I can, you know, run it by my community to investigate it and look into it, because that's essentially just goddamn stealing. So I'm not going to do that. I'm not like a jackass like that. So instead, we're just going to look at what he publicly says.
With Anki Core Japanese that shows you how to do this. But the default is this. You have a word here in English and you have to type the answer in Japanese. Now, I don't have a Japanese keyboard right now, so I'm just going to type whatever.
Okay, so straight up, my first thoughts are this is an absolutely shockingly terrible way to do Anki. Now, the reason being is you should not be doing one-to-one, you know, translations of words. The reason being is because it's very, very rare that you have a one-to-one semantic overlap between words and languages, okay? So generally, I would not recommend this at all. In fact, if you want to do, you know, single words, you should be possibly listening or reading the word in its target language and then trying to think of translations or whatever in your head, or visualizing the word in your head, depending on whatever way you want to do it. And then when you flip the card, you'll see the image or whatever. The other alternative is you're actually going to hear the word in context. That's how I like to use Anki. However, if you're practicing production of speech, then you should be working with full sentences with closed out parts, with the closed out parts being you having enough context that you should be able to pick up what is in the closed out part without needing an English translation, although sometimes you may need that below. I'll actually show you guys what I'm doing with that and my Chinese series in the next few weeks when I release my next video. So let's continue.
Show you an example. Press enter. Alright, and you may not have been able to hear it, but actually as soon as I pressed enter, I saw this whole thing here, all of the answers displayed, and I also got the audio for the word that was automatically played, and the audio for the example sentence was also played. So here you have the word in English. You type in your answer, using kanji and kanas, and it shows you the right answer, and it shows you sort of if you've made any mistakes. Here, obviously, I just typed a random string, so everything is wrong.
Now, I'm assuming this is a super basic word that's probably at the beginning of the deck when you first start studying, because it's literally the word thing. But if you're a Japanese speaker, let me know in the comments section below, how is the Japanese, how is the explanation, is this correct? Is there any issues you see with this? Now, I'm assuming there's going to be nothing, because this is a very basic word, and it will be at the beginning of the deck, and it would have been checked. But anyway, that's pretty much it. Now, he's going to, if I jump through this video a little bit, you'll see some more information here where he shows off the deck and stuff, and then he shows off basically the entire list that you've got in here. Now, let's have a quick look at what else it says here. All the vocabulary you'll ever need. Your Anki Core deck is the only deck you'll ever need to become fluent in your target language. With 8,000 to 11,000 flashcards, you'll be fluent by the end. Obviously, what he means is you're using this in conjunction with other stuff. Well, he should probably specify in there that, you use this in conjunction with listening and, speaking practice and all that type of stuff and grammar study or whatever, because you're not just going to be just memorizing individual units or words type of thing. Here's what you can expect. Your target word, 8,000, 11,000 words in total, sorted by frequency. Audio is also included, so you know how to pronounce the word. And then an example sentence, explanation, mnemonic, and word part analysis, as we just saw in the video. 1 million sentences analyzed. How do you really determine the frequency of a word? You have to count how many times it is used. To build the Anki Core decks, 1 million carefully selected sentences were analyzed. All the sentences were provided by the Leipzig University in Germany. You can learn more about the sentences here. The result of this computer analysis is a comprehensive list of 8,000, 10,000 words used in the language. I don't know much about this. I'm guessing it's just a frequency list, pretty much. Okay, so that's all great and all. You got 8,000 to 11,000 words in an Anki deck with audio, mnemonics, translations, all that great stuff. But how is this deck generated is the question. Well, the great thing is he actually tells us how this deck is generated. So, for example, in this video right here, where he's being interviewed, tips and tricks for more efficient language learning, he talks about it.
Word is, the root of each word. And I built a vocabulary deck. I call this the Anki Core deck because it's compatible with the app called Anki. And so I personally use this vocabulary deck on a daily basis, ordered by frequency. And there's a lot more information that I generated using AI, which is great nowadays. So each flashcard, there's about 10,000 flashcards.
Okay, so the way the deck has been generated is via AI. So you can imagine they've run a prompt through some type of system, probably something like ChatGPT or something similar, and he's asked it to generate the flashcards. Now, straight up, there's going to be issues with that, okay? You're going to have a lot of problems, but let's see what else he says. So, in this video, the best apps to learn Japanese... So in this video, the best apps to learn Japanese, 9 resources, he actually recommends Anki Core, obviously being, his own product here, and he speaks a little bit about it.
Right, and resource number 4 is going to be Anki Core Japanese. Now, I'm really biased because this is my own product, and I use my skills as a software engineer to develop the most comprehensive flashcard deck on the internet that is compatible with Anki. So Anki Core Japanese is a package of vocabulary flashcards for Japanese, where you have curated vocabulary that is sorted based on the frequency of the word.
Okay, again, we got some Japanese that popped up here. Let us know in the comment section.
Words that are presented, meaning that the first flashcard is going to be the most common word in Japanese and the last one is going to be the least common. There are more than 8,000 flashcards to go from total beginner to very advanced in Japanese. The entire deck has been proofread by a native Japanese speaker, and every single flashcard has audio for words and for sentences. The audio was generated using native-like artificial intelligence.
Okay, so now we know. The deck has been generated by AI, as in the actual notes themselves. The audio is AI. However, he says there's been a native speaker who has gone through and checked the entire deck. Now, I actually asked some members of my community, if they could just share a couple of random notes from the deck. So I asked one of my members to just send me, 3 random cards from the deck. Just like some pictures from your phone, screenshot, doesn't matter, okay? And they sent me these ones. So this is the first one they sent me, which means Southern Region. Funnily enough, the characters right there mean exactly the same in Chinese. That's the top of the card. Now here we've got the bottom of the card. Okay, and then there's the second card that they sent me, which means fluttering around. And there is the bottom of the card. And of course, I just naturally asked to the other Japanese speakers in my Discord, any issues with these 2 randomly selected cards? And we got this comment right here. The obvious mistakes are on the first card, inconsistent romanization, numble, and on the second card, writing this right here instead of this. Interestingly enough, it's correct in the romanization. Regarding the example sentences and definitions themselves, which I presume are AI, they look mostly fine to me. To me, this reads more natural, but please keep in mind that I am not a native speaker and have limited knowledge of the language. But in any case, we're at least got inconsistencies within the card itself. Okay, now obviously, I've also had comments on my YouTube channel regarding his decks. Now, these are individual comments, take them or leave them however you want. But this one right here, it says, Lewis Sales premium priced Anki decks, although not intended, I think it makes the vocabulary stick so much well because I have to remake about half of all his cards. So here's my super high level, analysis of this, okay? There is an Anki deck. It costs you $200. Essentially, it's AI generated, the cards. Also, it's just a frequency list, and then the audio is AI generated. There's a claim that a native speaker has gone through and checked it all, although, from our super quick, just random selection from the deck, we found mistakes. Commenters on my channel have found mistakes. Some are even saying, half of them have got problems, but at the same time, he's not hiding any of this. He openly says, it's AI generated. It's based on a frequency list. It uses, AI audio and all this type of stuff. So if you decide after all that you want to go out and buy this Anki deck, that is on you, okay? He doesn't really hide that very much. Now, the only thing I would say is if I go to his homepage where he sells this, because he does say this stuff in videos and interviews, but if I go search AI, let's have a look right here. If he mentions AI anywhere on the actual page. No. So that's the only thing. This is my only real gripe, is that he should actually just say straight up, this is generated using AI with AI audio, although it's, being checked by a native or whatever, and it may contain mistakes. That should be there somewhere on the page so people can make a more informed decision. But again, if you're going to drop $200 on the deck, I feel like you should be at least do 5 minutes of investigation yourself, and you'll find what I found, okay? Now, I personally would never in my life pay this much for a deck. It wouldn't happen, okay? Even if all that recording was done by actual native speakers, I still wouldn't pay it. I don't see the value proposition there. Because for me and Anki, you don't get much value from single word translations. And 2, the most value I actually get from Anki is in the creation of the cards myself, because I learn via the creation process, and then basically the cards become just a means by which I review and reinforce that information, so I don't just forget it and leave it in the short-term memory type of thing. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's what I think about this. You all have my thoughts on it. I ain't gonna buy the deck. I'm sorry, guys.